Hello, my name is Alexi Anba. I am an intern for TLT, Tomorrow's Leaders of Today. Um, so my major is human resource. So I'm an HR intern. So this presentation I'm about to do is titled Problem Solving Strategies for Adults. Throughout the whole presentation, I will be going over what is problem solving, why is problem solving important, how does problem solving help us as adults? Problem solving cycles one, two, and three. And when I refer to cycles, I just mean the different ways, like different methods um, to get to your goal when you're problem solving. And then I will talk about obstacles to problem solving. All right. So, what is problem solving? A lot of people, when they think about problem solving, for instance, in this case, problem solving is this big, big word, and you think it's, something difficult. Problem solving we do every day. Every day. For example, I am a mother, figuring out what time my son has to be at school, and working, I'm going to wake him up for breakfast. How am I going to reach the goal that I have set for myself? So I'm going to wake him up for breakfast at 7. He's supposed to be at school at 10. I'm going to wake him up for breakfast, let him take a bath, get him ready, clean his room, stuff like that. But how do you meet your goal? That's what problem solving is. I found some definitions. It says problem solving may be defined as the mental process. So when you think whatever you're thinking about, you're working through your head. How am I going to get to work? Am I going to take the 9 a.m. bus to get there at 10? How am I going to get home from work? Everybody does problem solving. Kids do too. For adults, we are a little bit, we've been on the earth longer. And so we tend to use methods that have worked for us in the past. Um, but it's when you think about it, it's not anything that's, it's this big, huge thing. It's things that, what am I going to eat for lunch? What am I, am I going to take a shower before I go to bed? Or am I just going to go home and go to sleep, Um, so stuff like that. So it says it's a mental process that people go through to find a solution to solve a problem. Um, it is a very important part of decision making because it is decision making, right? Um, so a problem is defined as an obstacle, hindrance, or complication that prevents a person from achieving his or her goals. Like I said before, how am I going to get home? Is it a problem if I don't know my way home? Am I going to take the bus? Am I going to take an Uber? Am I going to take, you know, am I going to ride my bike? So you have a problem, um, you think through it, and that's how you problem solve. Why is problem solving important? So, as functioning people in society, we have to have problem solving. I think I've been talking about this, and we do it without even knowing that we're doing it. An example I wrote down was figuring out how to get the laundry done when the electricity is gone. So if you have a washer and dryer in your house or apartment, and you're like, oh, I have no more clean clothes. What am I gonna do? Are you gonna sit at home and not do it? Or are you gonna, be like, oh, well, if the electricity's gone here, let me go to the laundromat. And that's a good, that's problem solving by itself. In the workplace, completing a project with someone who does not like your ideas. So say you have a project to complete What do you do? Do I talk to this person? Do we try to work it out? Do I talk to my manager? Should I do a chain of command? Should I just not talk to this person? Is it going to make the problem worse? We have a goal. We have to present our projects. Um, so, what are we going to do about it in order to meet our goal? Problem solving and why, um, how does problem solving help us? So it helps us to analyze, think about problems and reason, come up with solutions, and it tells us what's wrong, because that's I'll go back through this. One of the first steps is to recognize what's wrong. You can't fix something if you don't know what's wrong with it, right? So figuring out what's wrong, um, thinking about solutions. So what happens next? After thinking about solutions, going through to actually make a decision, act on that decision, go back and look at your actions and say, did this work? Did this not work? If you're doing different methods, learn from your mistakes, because now you know what works and what doesn't. Um, and then you adjust your behavior based on what you've been through, and then you keep track of your progress. If I do something else, is that going to work? So problem solving cycle one is to identify the problem. So figuring out what exactly the problem is. um, you can't solve I cannot say I looking for an example. I cannot say, all right, I need to go outside, but if I go outside, my feet is gonna freeze because it's real cold and icy and it's snowing outside. What do you do? Um, sh- uh, do I need socks on my feet? That, a solution. Do I need socks and shoes? Do I just need shoes by itself? Do I just need socks by itself? What's gonna be, the solution? So identify the problem. If I go out there and put shoes, right? Um, to list solutions. So you identify, you think about the solution like we just did. It's cold outside. I'm going to need socks and shoes, and then a coat. And so identifying solutions by thinking about what can I do, to not have this problem. And then you evaluate your options. See which one works, which one, you think will work better than the other one, and then you select the best option or choice. Problem solving cycle two, analyze, understand what the reason is. And then we come back to this because this is the first step. Like I said, that you cannot solve things that you have no idea what the reason is. Okay, so my coworker is having, not talking to me, don't want to listen to my ideas. What is going on? Okay, I'll buy him lunch. You buy him lunch, nothing else happens. Nothing, it doesn't change anything. Do I go to my coworker and say, hey, what exactly is going on? Do we have a miscommunication somewhere? Right? So, yeah. So understand what the reason is. And then think of solutions, implement those solutions, and then if decide if, you know, did this work? Are they talking to me now? Do we have an understanding? We didn't have to go to managers, but yeah, so same concept. Problem solving cycle three is identifying the problem, always first step. You A lot of people break the problem down in little itty bitty um steps. I'm laughing because my dean of my school once told me, how do you eat an elephant? You one spoon at a time. So you don't have to start. You have 10 assignments. Do I start all 10 assignments at the same time? No. I'm going to go over here first. Assignment 1. What do I need to do? Da 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 da. And be like, okay, all right, I've done assignment 1. Tick that one. But do you go, okay, I'll spend 2 hours in assignment 1, 2 hours in assignment 2. We're going to do all, an hour here, an hour there, and all assignments. That can be confusing, right? So I would say just break the problem down in little itty bitty steps. Generate potential solutions. We've been over this. Evaluate possible solutions. So choose the best one and implement or monitor the solution. Obstacles to problem solving, guessing, assuming. Don't assume things. Try and see, you have to try first. Don't assume. Irrelevant or misleading information. It is important to separate information. Don't just put everything in there and say, oh, well, it's not going to work because Lori told me she's tried this and it didn't work. Don't just try to separate, um, compartmentalize what information is separate and what is needed. And a lot of people, mental block. A lot of people do this. Oh, well, that's not going to work because, I tried it in the past and it didn't work. No, every day is a new day. You try. That is all I have. These are citations you can go and see.